Have you ever heard the term transference? If you are a psychology student or a psychologist, this word is always on your list, but if you are not, you may not realize it and you may not know this term, but you are actually doing it. To make everything clear, watch this video until the end because we will talk about transference, its meaning, and the psychology behind it. What exactly is transference? When someone transfers their affection from one person to another, this is called transference. It typically occurs when a patient projects their feelings toward a third party or onto their therapist while in therapy. The definition of transference based on psychology is somewhat distinct and specifically refers to patients receiving mental health care. A projection of one's unconscious feelings onto their therapist is referred to in this context as transference. These emotions, according to the American Psychological Association, were once aimed at significant parents or other childhood figures. Later in the 20th century, when therapeutic philosophies relaxed and practitioners were given more latitude in how they cared for their patients, the idea of transference in therapy emerged. Therapy may occasionally be hindered by the complex phenomena of transference. The client may feel tempted to totally eliminate their relationship with their therapist depending on their feelings, for example. Alternatively, they can retreat and become gloomy in therapy, which would hinder their development. Psychodynamic therapy often includes the process of resolving transferred emotions. Working through the circumstance can assist in resolving psychological conflicts that have been present for a long time. The nature of the transference can offer significant insights into the client's problems. What causes transference? Transference is not the same as an old emotion that pops up. It describes what happens when you project an old emotion you once felt towards someone else onto the person who is currently sharing the space with you. While it is possible to transfer old emotions onto almost anyone, a partner, a child, a friend, a boss, the term transference specifically refers to what happens when you transfer feelings you have toward or about other people onto your therapist. The childhood-related emotions are the ones we hung onto the longest. When you have a transference reaction to your therapist, it's typically because of something they did or said that made you think of something your parents said or did when you were a child. And because of this similarity, your therapist's authority and your emotional intimacy with them, old childhood feelings have come to the surface. Frequently, the intensity of those previous emotions hasn't changed at all. One explanation is all the previous baggage and beliefs you've accumulated throughout time. The fact that you never addressed them, never healed the injury or trauma that gave rise to them, is another factor. In reality, the reverse happened. Over time, the infection in that wound developed. Then you display that suffering behind glass in your identity museum. You manipulated yourself into thinking it was the only way you could feel. However, not all transference reactions result from emotions you've taken from your parents. You may express transferred feelings in the therapy session if an intimate connection, another household relationship, or a friendship had a significant enough impact on you. And the anger, fear, and pain can be just as intense as they were at the time of the trauma or betrayal that brought them on. Types of transferences. Positive and negative transference both occur during psychotherapy. With positive transference, the patient projects positive traits back onto the therapist. They might view the therapist as considerate or beneficial. When someone is experiencing negative transference, they project their negative feelings onto the therapist. For instance, they might consider the therapist to be rude and aggressive. They might also project negative emotions from the past onto their therapist. Transference can take many different forms outside of a therapeutic environment. They typically develop from connections made in childhood. The most prevalent transference patterns include: Number 5. Paternal transference. This is the act of viewing another person as a father figure or a real-life father figure. An individual may look up to the person as being strong, smart, and authoritative, and may anticipate receiving protection and wise counsel from this person. Number 4. Maternal transference. When a person treats another as a mother or idealized mother figure, this person is frequently regarded as loving and powerful, and people frequently look to them for comfort and nurturing. Number 3. Sibling transference. When parental relationships are poor or fail, sibling transference can happen. In contrast to parental transference, this sort of transference typically manifests as a peer or team-based relationship rather than leader or follower behavior. Number 2. Non-familial transference. This occurs when people treat others more like an idealized version of what they should be than like the people they really are. In this way, stereotypes can emerge. For instance, people may expect police officers to uphold the law at all times, while people may also expect doctors to be able to treat any illness. Priests may also be expected to be holy in everything they do. Number 1. Sexual transference. When a patient in treatment begins to feel sexually drawn to their therapist, which is also frequently referred to as erotic or eroticized transference. Erotic transference frequently refers to sexual fantasies that a person identifies as unrealistic and which can be a helpful sort of transference. Eroticized transference, on the other hand, is a compulsive attraction toward a therapist which can be harmful to the therapeutic relationship and the client's progress. Other than during therapy, transference can occasionally be observed in natural settings. Here are some examples of real-life experiences of transference. Situation 1. You don't easily trust your current partner or your previous romantic encounters because of your previous partner cheated. Situation 2. You are irritated by that stranger just because they have a resemblance to your annoying and brat little sister. Situation 3. You have a motherly connection with a female co-worker because her actions and the way she talks remind you of your mom. Situation 4. You hate boys because your father cheated on your mom and he keeps on hurting her. Situation 5. You love your boss and you want to make them proud all the time because you see him or he reminds you of your dad. Simply because a previous partner cheated, a person starts to distrust new romantic partners. Positive or negative transference is possible. Both can have various therapeutic advantages. Positive transference may cause a patient to perceive their therapist as considerate, caring, or in some other way beneficial. The therapist may still be able to use the patient's angry or painful feelings, which are directed toward them due to negative transference, to help the patient understand their situation better. Negative impacts of transference. In actuality, we all occasionally impose our emotions on those who are unworthy of them. Whether it's taking out your frustration for one friend on another friend, channeling your pent-up resentment toward your absent mother onto your stepmother, or using a new relationship to repress old feelings of distrust. Whatever the reason, doing so can be damaging because it can hinder relationships, have a bad impact on one's mental health, and ultimately lead to undesirable thought and behavior habits. Therefore, it's important that a person avoids doing so, if at all possible, and is honest about their sentiments with others. By doing so, they'll be less likely to direct other people's pent-up emotions toward them. Now that you know all about transference, do you now realize that you are doing this? Do you think this could affect your relationship or your future love story? Be careful about the negative effects of transference. You might lose someone that you love so much, just because you are transferring your traumas to them. What do you think about this topic? Do you agree with me too? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.